Hey everyone, and welcome to Chuck's Guitar Geekery. Today I'm going to demonstrate what I kind of stumbled upon by accident, but a way to get that classic Black Sabbath Tony Iommi tone for not much money. I'm talking mainly the Paranoid album tone. For the longest time, I had no idea how that tone was made. I always assumed it was just a fuzz pedal, but apparently it was just his old Laney amp, and from there he boosted it with what was a modified Dallas Rangemaster treble booster. So you combine that with his chopped off well, he's left-handed, his chopped off fingertips, so it's not actual skin touching the strings. And as a result, he used ultralight strings, he had an ultralight touch, and he's just Tony Iommi. There into his Laney amps, which from what I read were loaded with a Celestion G12 type speaker. I'm not sure exactly which one. And then from there, the rest of the sound you hear is a combination of microphone techniques, probably bleeding onto the other instruments, you know, the room they were in, whatever microphone preamps it went through, how hard it hit the tape when it was recorded to tape. I ain't got none of that going for me. What I stumbled upon is, figured I'd take a British style amp. In my case, I have this old Bugera Vintage 5, V5. These things sold everywhere. I'm sure you can find one of these. Now, I'm not using the internal speaker. I actually have it running through a load box to the more radar for an impulse response of an old Marshall 412, mic'd with a Sennheiser 441 microphone. Another part of the sound I've discovered is the microphone placement. If you're recording this, is critical too, because the tone is very directed at the cone of the speaker. It's not kind of towards the edge like I would normally record. But if you get yourself a 12-inch speaker to use this Bugera as a head, you'll get in the ballpark, especially if you can find a Celestion GH12 or any of this classic sounding Celestion speakers, or a clone thereof. There's no cheapo clones of a Rangemaster either, that I discovered this Mosky Golden Horse here. Very bright overdrive pedal, has a lot of high-end sizzle to it. So I'm using that, slamming the front end of this with it, going through that speaker emulation with that microphone and mic placement. I think I'm in the ballpark. For that little opening song there, I'm really not trying to get a copyright hit on this channel, so I would love to play actual Black Sabbath riffs, but I think I got close enough to one that you get the idea that hopefully gets past the bots looking for copyrighted material. also tried this, I have an Epiphone Valve Junior head, and I got pretty much the same results. So I think if you find British style tube amp, these Moski pedals you can pick up. When I got it, it was 18 bucks. I think they're up to around like 22 to 25. It depends on where you get them. Price seems to fluctuate, but a cheapo Klon clone, I think it gets in the ballpark. And I just have this absolutely slamming the front end of this amp with the volume on 10, but the preamp volume a little low. I have this parts caster here of a Squire 51, but it's got a super bright humbucker. And that's the closest thing I could get to a decent sounding P90-ish sound. Because another part of Tony Iommi sound was the SG he had. There were P90 pickups, but the bridge pickup was actually custom wound to be ridiculously hot. So for rhythm, he would kick it over to the neck pickup, which wasn't nearly as hot, and for lead, he would kick it over to the bridge. But I don't have a guitar like that, so. I think for the amount of money that's in this rig, that gets you pretty darn close. Now, another aspect of Tony Iommi's tone that people don't often talk about is it's mixed with probably one of the best rhythm sections that have ever existed, with Geezer Butler and Bill Ward. Geezer's bass is just a huge sounding yet punchy bass, and Tony's guitar tone is really a lot of treble, very in your face, almost kind of very raspy, but also fuzzy. So, to recap, you need a bright sounding guitar with somewhat hot pickups, but bright. I found this Moski Golden Horse did it, but I think any Klon style, which there are 1,000 Klon clones out there. The only cheap treble booster I could find that's still on the market is the Electro Harmonix Screaming Bird, I think it's called, but I don't have one of those on me. I didn't get a chance to get one. A British sounding tube amp of some sorts, somewhat cranked, but you use the pedal and slam a ton of treble into the front of it. Then from there, a 12-inch speaker of some sort, Celestion G style. And then if you're miking it using a dynamic mic, they might have used AKG 414s in the studio, but I found impulse response of a Sennheiser 441 seemed to do the trick. Mic'd pretty much on the center of the cone, but back a little bit in the room. So pretty much, you can try to use any combination of British style tube amp, very bright overdrive pedal. See if you get there. Thanks for tuning in. Please be sure to like and subscribe. I'll have affiliate links below if you want to pick up any of the pieces of gear I mentioned in this video. And until next time, cheers.